Well, Olympic hurdling legend Colin Jackson joins us now. Very good morning to
you.
We spoke to Roger Black a little bit earlier, who says he can't watch these Olympics knowing that they're clean and fair because the IOC have missed this one great opportunity to say doping is simply not tolerated.
And I think for me, the big story is that we're not that surprised that the IOC has kind of taken that kind of stance, that they've passed the buck onto the individual federations to do the dirty work in that sense and be sort of like the baddies in this whole equation.
What does it actually mean? I mean, lots of people are seeing all these different bodies, federations and so on. What has actually happened here? In reality, you've got 387 people from Russia competing at the Olympics. What will now happen to these individuals?
Well, each of the sports themselves have their governing bodies. So in athletics terms, the IAAF are the governing body, and we all seen already what the IAAF has done. They said, that's it, we're not having it. You're all out.
So they're all out?
So they're all out in track and field.
So is it possible that all the other federations make the same decision?
Absolutely.
So we could end up with all of them being thrown out anyway?
Absolutely.
Except that tennis has already
said, yeah, that they can come in. And that's the reason, because they've got 8 athletes who will be competing, and most of them are all professionals, and they see that they'll have their doping samples tested internationally on a regular basis. And so they've seen that it's OK for them to go there and do the competition.
Gatlin, the American sprinter, who may well beat Usain Bolt, or may not, but he's racing very quick at the moment. He's been banned twice for doping. Twice he's been brought back. Why should an American athlete like him be able to compete when what this has already determined, the IOC, is that any Russian who's been banned before for doping cannot compete? They've said that. Why one rule for them and one for the Americans? You
know, you're completely right. And that's one of the most frustrating things for Russian athletes, because they see that they're being persecuted up and beyond what seems to be fair across the board. You know, if Justin Gatlin, as you said, as mentioned, has been banned twice, why our athletes who've served their time not allowed to be? And you can see how that causes confusion right across the whole sporting spectrum in that sense, which is frustrating not only for the athletes, but for the general public, because they can't understand what's going on either.
Why don't we just start banning these cheats for life? I mean, seriously, clearly giving them small bans of 2 years, 3 years, makes no difference whatsoever. Why don't we just say, right, from now on, anybody caught doping, that's it. You are never competing professionally again.
I'm with you on that. And I would also add to that a financial penalty to that. But unfortunately, as we've seen on many occasions, that some dope tests are sadly sometimes not accurate. And so to ban everybody who's, you know, who's being caught...
You can appeal.
But that takes time.
Right. But, you know, we have a system where if you appeal, and on the appeal the investigation concludes it was a bad test or whatever, then you get recompense for all loss of earnings, whatever. But you've got to make the punishment now so tough that, because let's be honest, forget the Russians for a moment, because that was state-sponsored, systematic cheating. But there are lots of other countries competing. And by the way, we're not blameless.
No,
we have people who've been banned, right? Every country virtually has its cheats, right? And the problem is, you watch it. Well, I used to love the Olympics, and now I watch it going, has he? Has she?
Well, that's
and that's terrible.
Yeah, no, I agree with you in that sense. And that's frustrating for the audience, but also for clean athletes, it's very frustrating because you work so hard, tiresome hours you put in to be the best that you could possibly give.
When you are training, when you are preparing for the Olympics, and you know, when you were training, that was a time when you would have known that other countries' competitors were doping. What on earth does that do to you when you're thinking, they have an advantage?
Yeah, that's a really strong question. And I think most athletes, certainly in that era and even now, would try to get that out of your mind, because you want to eliminate all excuses from you not training hard and being the best that you can possibly be.
Did it ever cross your mind, if I took something, it would be a level playing field?
Oh, gosh, no. No. I think a lot of the times for us, certainly, it's about who you're looked after, who you're mentored by, who your examples are. And if they're good, clean people and good living in that sense, you tend to follow their pathway.
And so you were never offered anything?
No.
It was never suggested to you?
No. I think I was really fortunate. I was not ever put in that circumstance or that position where I had to make a decision. Because you can imagine, young people, when I met my coach when I was 15, and I stayed stayed with him all the way through my career. So he had a huge influence on my life, my youthful life, and as I was developing. So you can imagine if he was a type of person who would have suggested that I possibly would have taken drugs, perhaps I would have followed his mindset.
Did you lose out on medals to cheats? When you look back, do you know now if you did?
I did all right, so...
You beat the cheats.
Yeah, I most probably beat most of them in that sense. No doubt there'll be lots of them who actually tried to cheat to try and beat me.
There's no medal where you can look at now and think, I would have had a better one or that one if it hadn't been for a cheat beating.
No, and honestly, I'm trying to really search for that.
Because that to me would be, if I was an Olympic athlete and I got a silver medal, right, in the event I trained all my life for, and then I found out some bloke who got the gold or woman had cheated, my God, that would live with me for my life.
Yeah, I think I was lucky enough that I was good enough not to have or suffer that. But there may be many people that I would have trained with who would have missed out getting into finals, perhaps, because of doping.
Well, it robs people of their dreams.
And if the Queen were to be so bold as to arrive with her large sword, tap you on the shoulder, arise, Sir Andy?
I don't think you know until something like that happens, but it would obviously be, it would be amazing to be recognised